evening. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And how is everybody doing tonight?
Hopefully you can all hear us really well.
Yep. We are having... Is it possible to have, not necessarily jet lag, but
Conference lag?
driving with breakaway homestead lag?
That's possible. Although I didn't drive with him, so... But I will tell you, we moved much faster when he was in front. Just saying.
Yeah, he was ready to get home.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
So,
there's part of me though that thinks he should have been leading on the way up. We might have gotten there faster.
Yep. Mama T's here. D.
Palladino, that's a new name.
Palladino. Heirloom permaculture.
Heirloom permaculture.
Heirloom permaculture.
Uh-huh.
Heather, Incense, City Girl.
Brown coat.
Hope.
Mark Krieger.
Suburban.
Yep, lots of people in here.
Brown coat in the house. I have not. Brown coat, have you put your video out yet? I haven't seen yours. You got some. I know you got some awesome. He was walking around with a GoPro on his chest.
That's awesome.
But we will get to that
in just a second.
In a little bit. In a little bit. Okay. So.
I don't know why, but my ears are like, almost like I was in About Us. They're like popped. Not popped. Really? Is there something in there? I mean, besides my brain?
Hey, you know what they say about the guys who don't have pinkies? It's really hard for them because they can't go swimming. Because when they get out, they can't do this.
Oh my god, that's so silly. Lonely Prepper, what is up?
House.
How you doing,
D.
Lonely Prepper? Yeah, D, I'm not talking to you.
Don't even. That's a good way to get banned on this channel.
She said, "Go Tigers."
It's a very good way to get banned on this channel.
Okay.
All right. So, does everybody know what time it is?
C. Dean, hey, I'm here, but I was sharing everywhere. Yeah, I just saw it pop up. Thank you, kitty.
Does anybody know what time it is? Do you know what time it is?
What time is it? It's not summertime.
Do not get us copyright.
It is
Homestead News Time.
Carol's Corner.
From Carol's Corner.
I'm buffering, but are you gonna ban me? No, we're not gonna ban you. Do you not remember you put music in?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Carol from the Big Bear Homestead, and today we're talking about how feeding... Wait.
We're going to talk about how feeding weight.
Hi, I'm Carol from the Big Bear Homestead, and today we're talking about how feeding 10 billion people by 2050 within planetary limits may be achievable by studies published in journal Nature. Is the first to quantify how food production and consumption affect the planetary boundaries that describe a safe operating space for humanity beyond which Earth's vital systems could be unstoppable. No single solution is enough to avoid crossing planetary boundaries, but when the solutions are implemented together, the research indicates that it may be possible to feed the growing population of sustainability. Without concerted action, the researchers found that environmental impacts of food systems could increase by 50-90% in 2015. The growth rise of diets high in fats, sugars, and meat In that case, all planetary boundaries related to food production would be surpassed by some of them more than twofold. The study founded by EAT as a part of the EAT Lancet Commission for Food, Planet, and Health by Welcomes Our Planet, Our Health Partnership, and Livestock, Environment, and People combined. Detailed environmental accounts with a model of global food system that tracks our production and consumption of food across the world. With this model, researchers analyzed several options that could keep the food system within environmental limits. They found that the climate change could not be sufficiently migrated without dietary changes towards more plant-based diets. Adopting more plant-based diets globally could reduce greenhouse gas emissions by more than half, also reduce their environmental impacts, such as fertilizer application and the use of cropland fresh water, by a tenth to a quarter. In addition to dietary changes, improving and management practices and technologies in agriculture is required to limit the pressure of agricultural land, fresh water, and this is getting too fast. Okay. As I was saying, and fertilizer use. Increasing the agricultural yields from existing cropland, balancing application and recycling of fertilizers, and improving water management could, along with other measures, reduce those impacts by around a half. Finally, having food loss and waste needed for keeping the food system within environmental limits. Having food loss and waste could, if globally achieved, reduce environmental impacts by up to a 16%. Many of the solutions that were analyzed were being implemented in some parts of the world, but needed strong global coordination and rapid upscale to make their effects felt. Improving farming technologies and managing practices. No, you just made me miss this.
Carol, read it.
But I can't. And I also enjoyed the conference.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
What?
What does the top line say, baby? Calm down. What does it say? The very top line. Breaking news. This just in. And then you talk about how you enjoyed the conference. But keep doing what you're doing.
Go ahead.
This just in, I really loved the conference. Miss Nunda did a great job. So did Miss Amy, and we got to meet a lot of people there. We sadly missed Joel Salatin. But it was a nice, fun experience. I got to see all the booths, and I also got to work as a staff member, and it was fun.
Oh, that's my cue. We probably should have rehearsed that this just in thing instead of springing it on her like that.
She's like, what? You're interrupting me.
So,
Carol, that was an awesome job. We're going to work more on topics starting tomorrow so that she's not as rushed into doing it.
yeah.
All right.
So, Amy's here. Hello, Amy.
Good
Glad
to see
you-
her. She's still kind of getting reacclimated to normal life for a little while.
Yeah. Great job, Carol.
Yes, awesome job.
Yeah.
Way to
Carol, one of the things that I'm very proud of with Carol, and then we'll go into
our recap.
Of the Homesteaders of America Conference.
Mm-hmm.
She loves Miss Nunda.
Yes. She loves everybody, but she's got a special place in her heart for Miss Nunda. Yes.
And she likes Miss Amy because she's taller than Miss Amy.
Yes, and she kept reminding Miss Amy that she was taller than her. And I'm sure every time she did it, she wanted to cuss Jason out because she knew where that was coming from.
Yeah. But I was very proud of the fact that she came up to me.
I got to hear all the show jokes. Yep.
I was very proud when she came up to me and she said, "Daddy, I would like to help them.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to help them." And so I went to Amy and I said, "Hey, do you guys need
any help?
Need any help?" And she was thinking I was talking about me.
Right.
And she was like, "No, not really. You just stay at your booth." Whoosh. And I was like, "No, I'm talking about. Oh, Carol wants to help." Then she was like, "Oh yeah, send her on."
Mm-hmm.
And so I walked her back up there. They gave her her own Homestead of America T-shirt,
which she is very proud of.
Very proud of. And if it wouldn't have been so dirty, she would have been wearing it tonight. Probably.
Right. Probably.
So.
But I don't think she's taken it off since Saturday. Like, she's so proud of it, she wants to wear it everywhere, all over the place.
So with that being said, never mind, Blaze. I fixed it. Let's talk about the HOA. Where do we start? Do we start with the bad stuff? Or do we just say we've got a video coming out? We got to make it. And it's basically going to be a comparison between two rental car companies.
And you know, in the nature of what we do, the way that our videos have always been is we're always like, don't do what we did, because we had to learn the hard way. We don't want you to make the same mistake we did. So this video that he's talking about is kind of the same motivation, because we want people to know the struggle that we went through to be able to share that with everybody else so that they know.
Did you read what Amy said? That is absolutely hilarious.
Didn't wash his hands for 2 days after shaking Eustace's hand.
And it's like people can't wash their hand fast enough after
talking to you.
Talking to me.
What are you doing?
I was just trying to get that out of the but
no, I didn't know.
I'm really bugged out about the stink bug that's crawling.
We have a stink bug like right on our monitor. It's about to go on my head.
No soup for you. No soup for you. And so
Brown Coat said, other than the weather, I don't know of any bad stuff. No, what we're talking about is the bad stuff we personally went through getting up there. So
we had a rent-a-car. We're going to do the Cliff Notes version because of the video going to be coming out. We reserved a mid-size SUV.
Right, because we knew it was going to be wet, and we knew we were going to be on grass.
Well, here's the thing. Amy made it abundantly clear in all of the messages.
Yeah.
You're going to be parking in a field. Mm-hmm. The weather's... I mean, Amy kept everybody extremely well informed.
She did a great job
about it. Mm-hmm. And so I listened to what the boss lady was saying, and I told you, I said, we can't go with a car.
Right.
And so we had it reserved. We had to go down to Augusta to pick up some more of the T-Rex traps.
Right. And that, instead of being an hour and a half trip down and an hour and a half trip back,
ended up being all day.
And then
ran into a friend. And we had lunch with them and all that. So then Robyn called him and said, "Look, we are on the way. We are in Augusta."
Right, told him where we were.
2 hours away.
He said, as long as you're here before 6, because we close at 6, We'll have it here for you. Okay.
Make a long story short,
No car.
no car.
They gave it away.
They gave it away. And they did some other things.
Yeah.
But
We'll cover that later.
we'll cover that later. And then Patrick shows up.
Right.
Good old Patrick from the Breakaway Homestead.
Very cool guy.
Very
cool guy.
Very cool guy. If you're not subbed to him, go on over there, give him the old sub, because his wife said once he hits 1,000 subs, he's allowed to start. Because right now he's filming with his phone.
Oh.
He's allowed to start investing in his YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Channel.
Very nice.
So-
Very cool. So if you're not subbed to him,
Yeah.
go over there and sub to him.
Go over
'cause
and
it's
sub
pretty
to him.
cool.
He's a very good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He went out of his way.
Mhm.
What's up, all sorts? Long time no see. He came from North Carolina down here with
A trailer.
with his SUV and trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed the night here with us.
I was wondering because that changed. That name didn't look familiar.
Right.
Got it.
And helped us load up everything.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we tried to pay for gas or pay for this, he wouldn't let us. We literally had to sneak into buying the gas and buying this and buying that.
I don't think I ever managed to buy gas. I got oil for him, and we got food for him a couple times, some coffee, drinks, something like that. But
And
and
then,
then even when he left, I was like,
even when we left, we tried to sneak some money in his bag, and he caught us. And
I never got a chance.
Yeah.
And then I asked him, I said, "Are you gonna let me give you any money?" He's like, "No, save it and come see us."
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he toted us all the way up to
Mhm.
Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
He met up with one of his old Army buddies.
Yeah, that
or
was cool.
Navy buddy, Army buddy, I don't know what he was. They were military friends. And, because I think
It doesn't matter.
Doc was in the Army, and I know Patrick was in the Navy, so.
Yeah.
Helped us get stuff set up. He took my class on
Mhm.
Thursday. Then him and Doc went off and they did their thing. But on the very last night of the conference, he came over to us and he said, "Can I get the house key?"
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, "Yeah, sure."
Because he had been over there the first night when we drove in.
Mm-hmm.
He helped us. He dropped the trailer off, and then he came back first thing in the morning, put the
Yeah.
trailer back on, and brought it up. Helped us set up on Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and so he knew where we were
Yeah.
staying.
Because, and this is another thing, Amy did a super job with this also. And if you guys are not part of the Homesteaders of America community, you really need to be, because Amy leaves no stone unturned. She does a lot of her homework, and she told everybody the hotel rooms are going to be scarce.
They're going to be packed because not only are we having this conference, but this is the time of year when everybody goes to see all of the foliage changing color. And
Yeah.
so, one, you're not going to get a deal on your hotel because we can't do any kind of group pricing. And two, if you don't go ahead and get it now, it might be tough to get to them. Right.
And I told that to my dad. My dad didn't listen. He ended up getting a hotel room like 20 miles away.
Yeah, he wasn't close.
But Amy told us about these, what are they called? Airbnbs? Airbnbs. It's basically where you rent a house.
Mm-hmm.
Super nice house that we got to stay in. And it was like 6 or 7 miles.
No, we were like 12 miles. It was like 15 minutes driving time, which is not bad at all.
No. And from the conference. Super nice. But anyway, Patrick went back to it on the last night, and he cooked us dinner. He made an awesome pot of chili. We had the Aldermans over.
Yes.
Doc was there. He was there. And we had a super great time of fellowship there. And it was just really awesome. Patrick went way above and beyond.
Well, what was really cool, and I didn't tell you this because you didn't have your phone. I had the phones. When we were breaking down on Saturday, he left and was doing his own thing, and then he he asked, are we almost done? He was trying to time everything right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get these pictures, and he's already because all of the curtains were all put down and all this other stuff. Well, he's tied the curtains back. He's got all of the places set at the table.
Yeah.
He took a mug out of the kitchen, took some of the flowers, because I guess they had put fresh flowers on the regular dining room table. He took a couple and put it in the living room so that the girls had a place to sit, to eat. And, I mean, the whole thing. And he sent me all these pictures, and he's like, your chariot awaits. I was like, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
So, really, really cool. But we were about, 12 miles away. It was about a 15-mile drive. And what was cool is when we were coming into town, you pass a Walmart, a couple of different things, and then you go a little bit further to get to the fairgrounds. So, it was a perfect situation. So we get there on Thursday. You have your class. While you're teaching your class, the original plan was for me and the girls to go back to the house.
The house with Josh's kids.
Right. But Josh didn't bring his kids.
Nope.
His wife and kids, they stayed.
Completely messed up the whole
So
thing.
we were
Blacksmiths.
still kind of hanging out, and Patrick and Doc had gone and gotten breakfast. So we were eating breakfast, and Carol just disappeared. She started helping Nunda and Amy and all of them running around, and I would just see her briefly every once in a while.
Every now and then you would see her running with like a chair or something. It was as a dad, it made my chest stick out a little bit more.
But it was a little distracting because you were trying to teach, and every once in a while you would see her running back and forth, and I would watch her eyes kind of trace where she was going. Yeah. So then you were teaching, and everything was going great. His class was going perfect. And so I'm like, okay, I can be in laid back mode now. Everything's been going for about an hour and a half, good to go. So I asked Ladessa had decided she was going to go help too. So I'm like, I'm all by myself. What am I going to do?
And Ladessa and Tim Beverly became like buds.
So I'm like, I'm just going to go out to the car and go get my crochet stuff. I brought it with me. Keep myself busy. Well, I go out to the car, and the car's locked. And I'm like, okay, well, Ladessa had gone out to the car, so she's got the keys. So I asked her, and she's like, no, the keys are in the middle console. And I'm like, what? So I go back out there, and I'm like, no, there's no way. Every single door was locked. So I call her back, and I'm like, did you say that the keys were in the middle console? And she's like, yeah, they're in the middle console. I said, Ladessa, the car is locked. And she's like, and her whole face changes. She's like in tears, crying. Because at first, my first reaction was like, are you kidding me? Like, why would you do that? And then I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. Because we'd had so many bad things happen up until that point that I was just flooded with emotion. So I go to call Enterprise, which is who we ended up with. And they were awesome because they were like, calm down. We're going to figure this out. You got two options. First, check your insurance. If you have roadside assistance, they'll probably do it for free. If not, you've given us a deposit. You're not going to have to come out of pocket anymore. They'll bill us, and we'll just take it out of your deposit. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I can calm down. So I call USAA. They're like, absolutely, send us the location. We'll send somebody out.
They were like,
so
we know who your husband is. So,
so we just kind of chilled. We waited for the guy to get there. He took like 5 seconds. He had those little air pillows, almost like a blood pressure cuff. He opened up two sides. He put the little thing in there, popped the door, and everything was good to go.
Yep.
So then your class went through lunch. Everything was great. And then it was time to leave.
And then God unzipped the sky.
Yeah, it started raining.
It all started raining. Poor Amy running around in the rain.
Hair like plastered to her face.
Yeah. But it was so funny because Ladessa and Tim Beverly kind of hit it off. Mm-hmm. And then it was it Friday? Friday, Ladessa was taking something.
Well, no, we haven't finished. Okay, go ahead. You can tell that part. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Friday.
Did I go out of chronological?
Yeah, you're not in order, but go ahead.
Go ahead and say what you
Well, all I was going to say is, so Thursday, we're almost done. Everything's done. The rain had kind of passed for a little bit. And so it was time to go ahead and set up tents because the plan was they wanted us set up and ready to go at 7 a.m. Even though the doors don't open till 8, it was just good practice because then that way anybody who had a booth could go walk around and see everybody else's booth before 8. Perfect, great idea.
And this is where I messed up.
So
City Stead.
So we go.
I really got to figure out how to turn that into the dancing bear.
We go in and we're like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and set everything up now. We unloaded the trailer, put the tables up, put everything up underneath it. We're good to go. So they grabbed the tent and put the tent up.
That was me. I did all of this.
Oh, you're gonna take. Okay, so you're gonna take responsibility for the fact.
I took up responsibility for it when we came back the next morning. This was me. I did this. I messed up.
He put the tent up to like put it together, but then he left the canopy up. He didn't put the canopy down. I forgot to lower the canopy down. We had it all staked in and had the table set up and got everything tucked up underneath the tables. Right.
And I forgot to lower the canopy. Then I went over. Josh was right next door to us.
Set his up.
We helped Josh get set up. Well, we forgot to
put
lower.
His down too.
Josh is down too. And then it was that night. Josh and them came over for dinner.
Yes.
Right?
So that night, Josh, and that was fun just in itself. We all went to Walmart.
Yeah, that was.
And
hilarious.
We took over Walmart because
Josh got like 30 kids.
No, Josh has 7 children. And then the 2 of them, that's 9. And then the 4 of us, that was 13 of us, like 13 deep walking through Walmart. It was awesome.
We started playing Marco Polo.
So we get all the food. We pick up all the food that we're going to have. We decided on baked ziti, some cakes or those thaw pies for dessert. Garlic bread, salad, like we had the whole spread. Yeah. So we get back to the house and get everything done, and we're cooking and visiting and all that. And the kids were just having a blast. The kids
were having an absolute
they had an absolute.
They were sliding down it was so funny. Josh and I were sitting there playing chess because we always play chess with each other on Facebook. But we got a game called Plunder's Chess.
No, 4 adults and 11 children.
And bam, we were playing Plunder's Chess. And
4 adults and 9 children. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And Josh's wife.
It just occurred to me. She's making fun of me. You and Josh being kids. Sorry.
And Josh's wife was at the other end of the table.
Yes.
And we were playing and talking, and we were having some of our homemade mead. And all of a sudden, Josh's wife goes, "Your son just slid down the banister."
Because there was an upstairs and a downstairs, and there was an open staircase with a banister, and
and she's like, "I'm only telling you this because he almost went face first at the end." And so they were just kids being kids. They had a wonderful time. And
cool. If I was younger, I would too. Yeah. Absolutely. That's why we didn't even flinch. We're like, I'd have done it too. I might try that later.
And so Friday morning, we get up.
That was the thing. We got to bed quite late. It was like 11:30, 12 o'clock. So we're looking at the clock and we're like, okay. I said, Jason, how long do you think we need to set up? And you're like, 30 minutes tops, because we have everything set up. All you got to do is lay out your stuff.
All you got to do is put the stuff on the table.
And I had even had forethought, because of it being wet, I knew I was going to need some towels. So we picked up some towels on the way in and some tablecloths. So we picked that up on the way in. We set up the time so we would be there in 30 minutes. So we get there. We pull in,
and I'm like,
Carol's like, "Where's the tent?"
I'm like, "Where's the canopy? Where's Josh's canopy?"
Like nowhere. All I see is the white tables.
To be honest with you, I thought we might have done something wrong, and they moved our canopies for us, and I was kind of so I went and I found Mark. Well, I was looking for Amy. Amy was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And I went and found Mark.
Somebody move our tent.
And I was like, "Did my spot get moved?" And he's like,
"No, why?"
Oh, we didn't move any spots. I said, my tent's missing.
Gone.
My tent's gone. I said, did a storm come through here last night? And he was like, "Yeah."
huge
a bad storm came
We're
through,
like,
and I went,
oh. And we start looking around, and we're panning around, and up on the hill, we see blue.
Well, as me and Mark were getting ready to walk back, he said, "You see that tent right there? We had to fill those buckets full of stone to stop it from taking off." And I went, "Oh. So do we know what's that direction or that direction?"
Yeah.
Anybody call talking about a tent landed on their house or something?
We start looking,
And
up at the top of the hill, there's the white frame and I was like, "You have got to be kidding me!"
It was in tiny little pieces.
Oh, it was all busted up, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, could anything else go wrong for this conference? Like anything else?"
And I was like, "Just go get another one."
So I did. So of course we knew exactly where the Walmart was.
Yep.
Just been there about 10 minutes ago. So he's like, "I'll get all the tables set up.
Yeah,
We've got the tablecloths. We'll start drying off the tables and set everything up. Just go get that." And I'm like, "I'm out." He didn't even finish the sentence. I'm like, "I'm gone. I'm out of here."
I never finished the sentence.
So I take off. I go up there, pick one up, get another chair because we...
Right. So in the meantime, we're getting everything going, and the HOA staff was getting stuff going. Well, Odessa had to take some stuff to the trash can.
Mm-hmm.
And she walked past her buddy, and she said, "Good morning, Mr. Tim," and walked over to the trash can and threw something out. Well, Tim went to pick on her.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Ladessa, did you just call me ugly?" No.
Oh, ugly?
Let me tell the story because you weren't there. "Did you just call me ugly?" And she was like, no. And then she saw him grinning. And she was like, "Well, eh." And he was like, "Get away, Jason Jr." So Tim and Ladessa were like that with each other the whole time. And it was awesome to see. What I really am extremely thankful about is Nunda, Amy, Tangi, Tim, Amanda, all of them adopted our girls like they treated them like it was their kid.
And even some of the attendees,
Mm-hmm.
some of the people that we met that we kind of, got to talking with and stuff, like Mama T's kids,
Yep.
they were all. And
playing.
then I don't know his first name. I know his screen name is T. Roby, but his son was playing with ours.
Yeah, he hung out with our kids the whole time. And
Parker and the girls, they kind of hung out, had a good time together, and we got to see just how much Carol has absorbed from what Jason teaches the girls about protecting themselves.
See, what do you want
we were sitting visiting with people, and out of the corner of my eye I see some shoving going on, and I look, and there's Carol, and she's done.
I really wish you wouldn't talk about that.
She put a little boy in his place. So I like telling that story because I loved that my daughter was not the cowering type to come run and complain about some boy bullying her. She stood up for herself.
I don't know if it was bullying.
I mean, it could have been pulling hair kind of thing.
It could have been he had a little crush on her and she wasn't.
But whatever it was, she didn't take it that way. And she stood up for herself, so it was pretty cool. But anyway. And
so I loved the fact that my anxiety level was a lot lower with my girls running around because I knew somewhere, anywhere, at any point in time, there was a red shirt.
Somebody that was aware of where our girls
and they knew who my girls were, and I didn't have to worry about anything.
We didn't all weekend.
And then we had the added bonus of Mama T. The guy that was in my class, I wish I could remember his name. Tim, I think his name was. Josh, his wife.
Oh wow! Knockdown, drag out fight that Mark had to break up at the play train. I wonder if it was the same kid. But anyway.
Man, I always miss the good stuff. And
but anyway, it was really nice to know that there were eyes that were aware of everything.
And what was really cool, it was to watch these little kids, and you can see them in some of the videos. They were doing somersaults down the hills. They were rolling down the hills.
Because there was two hills. There was one over by the Lehman's barn that was that way, but then where the food truck was up high, and then there was this huge slant, and then our tent. So our girls, and Josh's tent was right next to us. So all of his children and our children would go up to at first, they wanted to run right in front of the booths. And I was like, no, that's not happening. Go find somewhere else. This is not a play area. So then they went behind the tents, and it was perfect, except for we had our sign up, and it was a perfect height that I had to bend over to look up underneath it to see where they were, because they were up at the top of the hill. But it was perfect, because they would all hang out up there, and then every once in a while they'd get a wild hair, and they'd roll down the hill, and then they'd run back up.
What was really funny, and you might not have seen this sometimes, like Amy would be going by in a golf cart, or Nunda would be going by in a golf, and they were like goalies, because the kids would be like rolling down, and they'd be like, get back here, get back here. They would like catch them and just toss them back up the hill. It was just awesome to see that it really was a big. It was like a family of like 4,000 people.
Yeah, community, definitely. I think 2, but yeah, it was mad. There was people everywhere, all over the place. But yeah, it was really. And
you really didn't have.
We need a giant playpen next year. Yeah,
it
was. I mean, but even not having that, and that was what I thought was cool. Is a lot of these kids had never met each other. They knew no stranger. Like, I mean, everybody knew everybody else, but they didn't know everybody else. They had no problem meeting and playing, and there was no judgment. It was awesome just to see everybody all getting along really well.
Nunda's here. Nunda is hey Nunda, just want to let you know that you are like one of Carol's heroes. So she will be on your hip next year.
Yeah.
So
there's Tim. Kids don't have Premier One provide the fencing.
That would be awesome.
I love him. He is awesome.
That's awesome.
That'd be perfect.
Well, Tim, you're going to get to see your buddy here in a few minutes.
Yep.
And
Mama T's like, yes, please.
Yeah. And so, my lecture, there wasn't an empty chair. I did have one heckler.
But it sounds like that heckler was traveling around.
Yeah. And, which is okay. And, it kept me on my toes. And, the classes were absolutely phenomenal. Everything that I've heard from whether people were talking about the canning class, the rabbit butchering class, the wool class.
All of them.
I never heard someone say, I probably should have taken this other class. Or I should have went to this other lecture. Nope. It was like everybody wanted to clone themselves.
To be able to go to all the other ones.
To be able to go to all the other ones. And it was a great mixture of classes that everybody in the homesteading lifestyle they need. They are a must have class.
Right. There's so many. Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to have been able to, and I did kind of bounce around just to kind of see what was going on with all of them, but they were definitely good quality. They had great teachers. Everybody who was teaching was kind of I don't want to say an expert because we kind of shy away from that word, but they were definitely very knowledgeable in their field. So that was really cool.
I got to meet Eustace Conway. Now, this is a funny story that you don't know, and I didn't share with you because I was waiting for like this moment.
Oh, okay.
I went to go meet Eustace Conway, and I was patiently waiting. And there was a couple of girls fangirling over him, and he was sitting there, and he was holding a conversation with them. And they went around, took pictures with him, and it finally became my turn to talk. And I got to talking to him about trapping, and he's like, "Oh, you're the trapping guy," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the trapping guy." And he was telling me how great it was that just giving people just enough information to get them interested and carrying on. Well, I started to share the raccoon story about the one behind the Augusta National. Right? I'm like halfway through this story, and I get like kicked in my calf. Not literally, but I hear this, Jason, There's other people that want to talk to him too.
Amy.
And I look around, and there's Boss Lady. Get back to your booth. I mean, she didn't say get back to your booth. She was like, come on, there's a line. There was a line. And the people that she was thinking that was in line were like the people that just got done talking to him. And I went to argue with her. I was like, they just... And then Eustace stepped and goes, no, I want to hear the end of this story. So Eustace saved me from getting a butt whooping from Amy. Because she had the radio. I knew she was fixing to call Ann and Nunda. And they were just going to come up and beat the tar fire out of me. And so I didn't really talk to any of the keynote speakers
after that.
Mm-hmm. Because I knew Amy was like lurking.
She punched you, not kicked you.
Lurking around the corner just waiting. And
wait, I just got that. I was just busting your chops.
I know.
He was saying that she's so short that when she punched him, it felt like you got kicked. That was funny. I'm a little slow tonight.
And so I got to... The nice thing is we caught Stacy Lynn as she was like coming by our booth, and I was like, I am at my booth, so Amy can't say anything. And so we had a great conversation with Stacy Lynn. We're going to try to set up a hunting trip with her family.
Her whole family was pleasant.
Ours.
Like, they were all just sitting there, just talking, holding on conversation. It was really nice to meet all of them. So.
And I didn't get to talk to Joel. Everybody kept me away from Joel until the Q&A.
Well, and from what I understand, he was just completely swamped. Like, last year, there wasn't as many people as there was this year.
Yeah.
And it was a one-day event. This year, it was 2 days, and there was a lot more people knowing he was going to be there and all of that. And so he kind of got, I don't want to say smothered, but it was like as soon as he showed up, he got swamped.
Yeah.
And so next year, like Amy just said, they're going to have security for him, because he didn't, the first year, he was able to walk around all of the booths and see everybody. And this year, he couldn't. And I think he finally got frustrated and was just like, I just got to go. I can't. There's just too much going on.
And it was really great. I got to talk to him a little bit at the Q&A, and he shook my hand. He's like, hey, how you doing? And it was like we were old buds and stuff. And then Amy made sure that I was sitting over here and he was over here. But I got this sitting in the Q&A. I was sitting down, swinging my feet. I was like, this must be Amy in a chair. And I was swinging my feet. And
it makes me think of the time she had something to Ladessa when she was on the pot.
Yeah, she was swinging her feet on top. Anyway, Justin Rhodes and his wife sat down next to me. Mm-hmm. And it went me, her name's Rebecca, right? Mm-hmm. And then Justin. Mm-hmm. So Rebecca leans over to me and she says,
just so you know.
Just so you know. If he tries to hand me this microphone, I am throwing it to you. Yep. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I'm just giving you a warning. I really don't want to talk on this thing. And so Justin said something. He went to hand it to her, and it was like she just went
hot potato.
And I was like, poof, caught it, and I was like, oh, okay, holding it. And then he was saying a couple things, and she would like lean over to me and whisper stuff. And if you watch any of the video of the Q&A, if anybody catches it, there's going to be a couple of times when I'm sitting there and you see her do one of these, and then you watch my head go like this. Because I'm trying not to laugh. I brought blood on my bottom lip because she had, I didn't want to laugh up there, but she was just throwing the jokes out there, and she is absolutely hilarious. And then it came around with the last question, and I finally got to get ready to say something, and Amy was like, no soup for you. You don't answer questions. Just turned my microphone off. And then, like, nobody said anything, and I'm standing there holding the mic, and I'm like... like a whole minute. I'm slapping this microphone.
Good job, Amy.
And Amy remotely turned off.
I couldn't let it go any longer.
And then finally, Rebecca comes to my rescue and she's like, Amy turned you off. And Amy's over here like tucked behind the speaker and you can just like see the top of her head. And I was like, she's like, it's over. I was like, but I really had something. It was going to make me look smart.
Yeah, we know how much you like to make yourself look smart.
It doesn't happen often,
No.
but when it does. And then, our booth, once again, was always thumping. Amy had us in an awesome location.
Yes, we were in a great location. I don't think there was a bad location, though, really, because everybody was so interested in seeing what everybody else had to offer that it wasn't a big deal to walk around. So there was no bad spot at all.
Well, let me have it.
Okay.
Let me believe that Amy picked that spot especially just for me.
She probably did.
And she knew it was
Right.
going to be.
Well, at least it wasn't right next to the porta potties.
Good point. Now that you said that's probably where we're going to be.
Exactly. She's like, note to self, next year, right by the porta potty.
But we did get to walk around for a little bit. And
it wasn't even walking around.
No, I was
we
getting ready to
literally
say that.
beeline.
We made a beeline to the mushroom guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was almost completely sold out. And next to the...
Next to the potties. See, I just set that up for you.
Yeah. See?
Mm-hmm.
I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And we made a beeline straight to the mushroom guy.
Mm-hmm.
When we got there, he was like... almost like completely sold out of the one that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, the only thing I have is this 1,000 pack.
Shiitake.
And I was like, oh.
And that's going to be super expensive
Super
because we saw
expensive.
how much it was for 100. And I was like, we can't afford that.
And so this one over here gave him the puppy dog eyes.
Well, I was like, we really can't afford that because 10 times 100 is 1,000, right? So 10 times what he was charging for the 100. I was like, we can't afford that. And
so he gave it to her at half price.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, you know what? We've had a decent conference. That's manageable. We can do that.
Yeah.
So.
And so we got those.
Hopefully we'll have a video on that.
We're going to have a video on that, but I'm also going to try to have him on as a guest.
And I'm sure he didn't want to take it home with it,
Yeah, that was one of the things he didn't want to have. And that was another thing that Doc got something like that because Patrick went up to the person because it was like the very first day. Mm-hmm. And I think it was for like a sawmill or something. If they had a sawmill there. And it was a like $250 or something like that dollars. And Patrick said, don't buy it right yet. Wait to see if he still got it
at the end of the conference. Right. Mm-hmm.
Went up there at the end of the conference.
To family, what's up?
And the guy didn't want to pack it up.
Mm-mm.
And he got a good deal on it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way it, it's kind of the way it goes with the conference. We kind of did that with a couple of things too, so.
Yeah. But okay, we have something new and exciting for you guys tonight. That's about the best segue I can go into it, right? Because there's really no.
Hey, you don't have any for her?
No. Well, she gets the regular transition music. So, without further ado.
Hello.
I think you're good. How do I get back to page up?
Just go. Oh, keep your hand up there. Right.
Here?
No. Over. Right there. Page up.
Okay, you ready?
Not really.
Alright, now go for it.
Good.
These are the 3 R's.
Just start right here.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Hello, my name's Ladessa. And this is the RRR. I know what you're thinking, that this is a seal club. No, I'm sorry. But these are the 3 R's. And they mean recycle, reuse, repurpose. Now, I will be making some projects later on the show. Sadly, I will not be doing any projects on this show. I will be talking about the Hoover Dam. It stands at 626 feet tall. And now it is going to be a power plant. I know what you're thinking. A power plant? How does this fall in the 3 R's? They're going to be using a power generator that generates and takes the water from Lake Mead. And the water comes from a funneled through spinning turbines that create electricity, and then the water releases to flow. And the downstream. Los Angeles is the largest customer 55% to California's 25% to Nevada and the 20s.
No, 20%.
And the 20%.
Speak up a little bit.
Arizona's customers are what? Schilling says. The dam was built in the Colorado River after the devastating floods. Now, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power is looking to turn the giant energy system similar to the job in the battery performs. And the fact is, one of the simplest technology water pumps the water uphill when there's too much energy and lets the water run downhill when there's not enough energy.
Okay.
The Department of Water and Power have already implemented the plan that works on a much smaller scale of what?
Reach around and turn her mic up a little bit.
Wait, not that one. This one.
Go ahead.
Tell the story in your own words.
Yeah, just tell everybody what you read.
They're going to turn the dam into a power plant, and they're going to take the pump and they're going to make sure all of the water, because it's an up and downhill, they're going to pump it uphill so that way when there's much electric energy, and then when it goes downhill when there's not a lot of electricity.
Gotcha.
And the power, there's going to be so much power, it's going to cover the whole it's going to power Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it sounded like a little bit of Nevada, too?
Yes, a little bit of Nevada.
And maybe some of Arizona?
Yes, some of Arizona, too.
Okay, so why did you pick that story?
Because they're going to reuse the power. As soon as it comes through
Reuse the water.
As soon as it pumps, it's going to come up. It's going to come up, and then it's going to come right back around and go right back into the dam. So it's basically just reusing the water.
To go right back into the generators?
Yes, to go right back into the generators.
To make power.
To make power.
So that then repurposes and makes
power for the whole of Los Angeles, a little bit of Nevada, and just a little bit of Arizona.
Very cool.
So, tell us what your thoughts about the conference. Talk about the conference.
I had a really, really good time. And I got to meet Joel Salatin and get one of our books signed. That was my favorite part, of course. And then, whenever Mom had to go off and get lunch or anything, I would have to take over the booth while Carol was off doing the stuff with the staff.
Stop looking at yourself.
Sorry.
Look at the camera.
No one knows about that.
You do now.
Oh, good job. And I got to run around and help Miss Nunda when the keys got locked in the car.
What was your favorite part about the conference?
I don't know. All of it was good, except that one part. Except the one part.
Mm-hmm. What part?
Part that we had to put somebody on the ground. And, of course, that we had to leave.
Tell everybody about when you had somebody that he scruffed his elbow. What did you guys do?
Oh, so we had to go into the oils situation. We got geranium and helichrysum out. We wiped off his elbow. We put on the helichrysum, and then we put on the geranium. We should have gotten melaleuca
Yeah.
or geranium instead of doing the helichrysum.
Why was that?
Because little bottle, what did you say, like $50?
$100.
$100 just for that tiny little bottle.
And they're like, let me help you.
So, Ladessa,
Yes, sir.
what did you think about when you stood next to Miss Amy? And you were just as tall as Miss Amy.
It was sad. Very, very sad.
Teresa said it's so expensive, let him bleed.
You want to go back next year?
Yes.
Okay.
Miss Amy said, I used to like you, Ladessa.
All right, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Ladessa needs her own booth next year.
Mm-hmm.
I
Why, so
agree.
she can outsell us?
I'm telling you, when we were selling stuff, like I would come back and she's like, here, and she'd hand me all this money. I'm like, wow, okay. Nobody could say anything about the dimples. Like,
Okay. Right off, we're going to do a White House on the Hill impersonation.
oh no.
We're going to do rapid fire questions.
Now it's saying we're not very loud. Did you turn our volume down? Yes.
That's
What?
going to blow it out.
Oh, well then turn it down just a teeny bit.
I
There we go.
love how people are screaming, turn the intro down. I can't turn it down any lower. I can't, once I got it loaded up in here, I can't turn it down because I made that in Premiere.
Yeah. So anyway.
Okay. Ready?
No, I don't know, because she never talks. Like, it's just him, so you go for it.
No, I'm asking you the questions and then you can ask me questions. All right. Favorite thing about the conference?
Making money. Recovering some of our cost.
Least favorite thing about the conference?
Having to replace the tents. that kind of stunk.
What was was there anything that you wanted to see that you didn't get to see?
All of the presenters. I didn't get to see. I would have loved to see Stacy Lynn. I still have yet to hear Joel speak. I would have loved to have been in your class. Couldn't do that.
Why would you want to be in my class?
Because I love listening to you talk.
Then why do you always interrupt me on the live stream?
Peanut Gallery needs to be quiet over there.
If you can change one thing about what we did between leaving for the conference and returning home that could have made our experience better, what would it have been?
That's a good one. I would have liked to have had a time where all of the people that were manning booths and everybody that wanted to be able to have some kind of, I don't know if shindig's the right word, or a meeting time, like even if it was like lunchtime and everybody shut their booth down for half an hour to be able to visit with everybody. It just kind of stunk that the only way that we were ever going to meet each other is if you stopped what you were doing and going around trying to meet everybody. So that was kind of at least frustrating on my part, just because like Friday would have been a perfect opportunity to go around and visit everybody, but we were chasing tents and doing stuff like that. So I would have loved to be able to visit more with people, but we didn't really get as much of an opportunity to do that.
You completely didn't even listen to my question.
To make it better, yes.
That's that we could have done.
Well, I guess we couldn't have done that then, huh?
No.
What could we have done different? Had a dually, maybe. I don't know. Had our own, and even really, that's not even really fair, because we really didn't suffer with having. Yeah. Patrick, I mean, it went so smoothly. It's really kind of hard to answer that question.
I don't think we could have done anything different.
I mean, set up the tent right.
So, yeah.
That would have been the only thing.
I could have set up the tent right, and then we would have been able to, if we would have had my truck, we would have been able to afford to be able to go, because the stuff that you were talking about, a lot of people did do that. After the conference on one day, that a whole bunch of people went out to dinner. We just couldn't afford to go with. Mm-hmm. And so, but next year, we're crashing those parties. We're going out to dinner with everybody.
Yep.
And, okay, your turn.
Boxers or briefs? No, I'm kidding. That was so funny. He has Joel Salatin boxers or briefs. And if you haven't seen that, you really need to see it. Briefs, by the way. Anyway, so... I was talking about for you.
I don't wear briefs.
You wear boxer briefs. Those are briefs. Just kidding. Anyway, so least favorite thing about the conference.
Least favorite thing about the conference. My boots. My feet were screaming. Why? Because I waited till the last minute to buy new boots, and the very first day I didn't put my insoles in them.
Yep.
And so my feet were trashed.
They were, yes.
The rest of the conference.
Mm-hmm. Favorite part of the conference?
I could say taking a picture with Stacy Linden out of the corner of my eye, watching you go.
Not true.
Getting all jealous.
Not true. You were definitely fangirling them. Just saying.
Favorite part of the conference. That's a tough one for me. I really enjoyed the mushroom guys. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed getting to meet Eustace Conway. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing that tops it all is I got to see my friends. I got to see Amy.
So she's like totally fan forking. No. Hurling. She's like girling. Dang it. I love autocorrect.
Hey, Little Creek Homestead.
Hey, Little Creek.
But it was, I think that was my biggest enjoyment, is I didn't get to spend a lot of time with them. Mm-hmm. And I got at the end, I got to crawl up and hang out with Mark and John. Mm-hmm. And we went and emptied some trash cans together. And before you ruined that for me, because you're like, And
because we had a beautiful table spread waiting on us at the house.
yeah, but I didn't get to hang out with my boys the whole time, and that was our timing.
Well, that's definitely something and that's
we're going early next year, and we're staying later.
So, what would you have done differently to make the conference better?
Yeah, I would. Well, one, I would have made sure that I had my truck without, because we're going to get a trailer specifically for
Hopefully,
conferences.
Yes.
And we're going to come early, so that way we can help maybe take a little bit of a load off of Amy and Nunda and Mark and John and Ann and all those people to be able to just be an extra couple of, I mean, that's 4 extra set of hands. You know,
counting the girls.
Yeah.
Yes, I was like
that can help.
2, 3, 4. Yeah.
And then same way with tearing it down. Then that way we get to fellowship with our friends and stuff that were there.
Right.
So that's the thing that I would do differently.
What was something you wish you could have done but you didn't get a chance to do?
Listen to Salatin speak.
Yeah. Miss Robyn got kind of mama bear at my boyfriend when I was saying goodbye. She was like, "You'd better take care of her."
Okay.
I did.
So, done talking about the conference, and we've run over a little bit. But I want to talk to you guys about 2 things. The first one, this is kind of like a preemptive kind of thing. You'll see her in the chat box. Little Creek Homestead. Her bunnies got taken out by some predators while she was at school. And she came in to 2 Families live stream that we were the guests on last Monday.
We were covering for somebody on Monday.
And she told us all about it. And it melted our heart. So they started they're trying to get her some rabbits. I think Sherry is in conversation with Tractor Supply to see if they'll donate the some feed, some bedding.
Oh, okay.
The hutch.
I know
waterer.
she had messaged me and said there was somebody that had reached out to her and said, "I can't donate any money, but I do have rabbits."
She's got a young buck, and she's going to get pick of the litter when the new kits are ready.
Yeah.
So what I'm asking is if we get a hiccup with Tractor Supply, I'm going to do a call out to you guys, and I want all of you guys to just go to the Tractor Supply Facebook page or website or whatever and say, "Please help Sammy." That's all you got to put on there. It's #HelpSammy. So then that way they know how large this homesteading community is.
Yeah.
Now, the second one that I'm going to talk about, it's not going to cost you anything for one part, and the other part, it may cost you a little bit. First thing, the name of their channel is Flip Flop Homestead, or Flip Flop Farms.
Barnyard? Flip Flop Barnyard?
Flip Flop. I had it written down, then I lost my paper. Somebody help me out with that one. Amy. Amy, could you put the link up to Flip Flop in the chat box, please? I should have gotten Kitty this information, but I didn't. Flip Flop Barnyard.
Barnyard, that's what I thought.
And I'm sorry, Kitty. I failed you. I did not get that to you.
Yeah, Flip Flop Barnyard.
Their entire homestead, they lived in Florida. Their entire homestead was completely everything, destroyed. They were able to get their animals out, so their animals are safe. But everything was just destroyed. And so what I'm asking you guys to do is go to their channel. Watch some videos. Let the ads play so their AdSense can go up. Also, go to Pratt Family's Homestead. Watch their videos. Watch the ads. Let their ads play.
And the reason for that?
Pratt Family is donating their AdSense check for the next 3 months to Flip Flop.
Right. So if you can kind of piggyback off of both of those.
Yeah, that would help them in 2 ways. What we're doing is, because we maybe get an AdSense check every other month, so that really wouldn't.
Yeah.
What we're doing is the profits from our trap sales. Anything that we sell trap-wise for the next 3 months is automatic. All the profit is going to flip-flop. So if you need a T-Rex trap, if you were thinking about getting a coon cuff or something like that, now is the time to buy it.
Right.
Because all the proceeds that, we have to pay Minnesota Trap Line, and then we normally get the difference. Well, that difference is now going to
them.
Flip-flop.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, some of the traps, we may get a $1 or $2 profit.
Some of them we don't even get that. We get like 70 cents or something.
Yeah.
But
so
every little bit
will help. And we are doing that for the next 3
basically till
months.
Christmas. Yeah.
Till Christmas. So if you guys could, please go watch those ads. And let's help this family in their time of need.
That's rough.
It's got to be hard to have everything gone because of a storm. Nothing that you did wrong.
Or just, there was nothing you could do to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an act of God.
Yeah.
And granted, insurance is going to pay for some things, but there's some things that insurance and stuff, they just, everybody knows insurance companies, they try to nickel and dime every little thing. Like with my truck. They said my truck was valued at like $22,000, but with the moment it got totaled, all of a sudden it was only valued at like 19. And so, and it wasn't even 6 months within the loan time frame. So we know how they try to, insurance companies try to nickel and dime.
And then the other thing to talk about is that you don't, there are some things that insurance can't replace.
Right.
I mean, there's some things that you'll never be able to get back.
Well, they don't cover clothes, they don't cover toys, they don't cover food, they don't cover furniture, picture frames, pictures. Granted, they probably got a lot of those pictures saved up in the cloud, but to be able to print them out again.
Right, all of that different stuff.
Yeah, all that different stuff. There's some things that insurance companies just won't cover. Computers, cameras.
And the other thing, too, is, and they might cover all that. You don't know what their policy is, but the thing is that all of that takes time. It's not something that just, because, I don't know how many of y'all follow Stephanie Martin, but she had a fire last year. Fire completely took out their house. And they're just now starting to build.
Yeah.
Because it's been that long of having to get everything situated to where they can redo, they had to redo everything. So, it may, and with the devastation that's down there, there's no telling how long they'll be displaced before they...
Yeah, because before somebody even gets to them to assess...
Exactly.
What they've lost.
Yeah, so just pray for them, and the YouTube thing helps. They've got quite a few subscribers, so definitely be watching those videos or playing the videos, because that will definitely help them. Yeah. What about gas cards going back and forth? I mean, any of that.
They have permanently
moved to Virginia now. Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah. Good.
So, well, guys, we've been on for almost an hour and a half. Carol did take some pictures of the conference, and I'm going to try to put a little slideshow kind of thing together this week.
Right.
And get that out. Now I'm gonna say something, and you guys know me. I don't lie because I don't freaking remember what it is that I say half the time. And I'm going to be speaking from my heart right here. If you are just a beginning homesteader, or if you've been homesteading since you've been 16 years old or something, and you're a seasoned vet, You don't know everything. And there may be some things that you forgot.
Mm-hmm.
The Homesteaders of America Conference is a place where everyone gets treated like family.
Mm-hmm.
Where there is something for everybody. You cannot go to this conference and not come back with some type of knowledge.
Perfect example. The very first year, Bandana Grandma brought her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the conference, he was like, I have no interest in going back to that next year. Not that it was a disappointment to him, but he felt he was not a homesteader himself. So he felt like these are not my people.
I thought that's what he said before he came, and then after he left
Because he and his wife went rounds before they came this year. He did not want to come, and she's like, you have to come. You have to help me set up. You have to do all that. So he gets there, and the day that we were setting everything up, on Thursday, she came in and they set up their tent. And at one part, he was just kind of like just sitting there in the corner. And then I walked back up to go say hey, bye to everybody before we called it a night. And he was over there, and he was laughing and giggling with Parker and Carol and Ladessa and all of them. And he found his element. And from that moment on, he had a blast because he met up with you and talked to you for a little while and talked to a bunch of people. And I think, with her telling him, you don't have to be a homesteader, that's one thing. It's almost like a parent telling a child something. But when somebody else tells you, you don't have to be a homesteader, we all have different things that we have in common that don't necessarily have to do with being a homesteader. We're all still human. We all have different things. And it was so cool to see him chatting with Doc Ferris and with you and, everybody else. It was just really nice to have, he was talking with, because one thing we didn't know is he was a retired teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of the children, he was like in his element. And he had a blast all of Friday and all of Saturday. And so that right there tells me that it doesn't even have to be that you're a homesteader. You could just be curious about it.
You could be curious.
Or you could just be somebody who's just interested in canning. You don't want to be a big homestead or anything like that, but you just want to learn a little bit more about canning. And you just happen to come and look and see everything else. What?
You know what it is? And this is just the best way to put it. I mean, this is just like checkmate right here. The Homesteaders of America Conference is now the gateway animal.
There you go. It is. It's the gateway. It's the gateway animal.
It's the gateway to homesteading. If you're just curious, and it doesn't matter if you're just curious, you just started, or if you've been doing it for a while. You cannot come away and with not only let me phrase this correctly. Not only do you come away with knowledge, but everybody needs to have their sails refilled. Mm-hmm. They need to have the wind pushed back up underneath their wings. Mm-hmm. They need to be recharged.
Yeah, I don't know how, if you were somebody who does homestead, how you could not walk away from that conference with a sense of, like a breath of fresh air kind of thing. It gave everybody a little bit of that extra oomph to go back and do more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then for the people who were just kind of starting out, it gave really them I'm so excited because I see all these other people doing it and I can do it because I'm just like them, Yeah. That was one thing that I really, really like about this conference is the people that are there as speakers had all the time in the world for people. They were not like, I'm so-and-so, I don't have time to talk to the people, Every single one of them had no problem being stopped and asked questions or stopped and taking a picture. The whole way that everything was set up, it allowed people to see their heroes, and they were all human beings just like the rest of us,
And I'm going to say this, and then we're gonna end it. I got my cheesecake. I got my cheesecake.
Yeah, that was really good too. I don't even know because I didn't get any of it.
That's right. I didn't share. I'm not even sorry.
No.
Not even
He
sorry.
didn't share it with anybody.
Okay. Well, we are going to end our show right here. We love you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming by. Remember to be kind to one another.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what that person could be going through. They may have just been kicked by Amy and told to get away from Eustace Conway. Get back to your booth. They didn't mean to.
Look at that. I'll make you a cheesecake and a pumpkin roll if you'll come get these coyotes.
And, baby, come on over here. And, Mr. Tim's saying goodnight, your buddy.
Jesus, she punched you.
I will punch you too.
Okay. Say goodnight to Mr. Tim.
Good night.
Remember to
Recycle, reuse, and repurpose.
keep stuff out of that landfill and give our wildlife a chance.
Bye.
Thank you guys for coming by. And we appreciate you. And we will see you guys next time.